Johann Christoph Hoffmann, a once wealthy shoemaker, the greatest in Lunenburg County, looked at his workshop in despair. His time of plenty had passed, leaving with the death of his wife Margaret in the spring. Now, standing beside his workbench on a cold December day, Johann couldn't bring himself to work. No matter how many times he reminded himself he needed the money, he glanced down at the leather in his hand and in disgust tossed it on the bench, returning to his home across the street. He ate dinner alone, his children grown up and living afar in Boston, seeking their own fortunes. As he ate, Johann considered retiring his shoemaking business to move to the States to be with Anna Barbara and Caspar. He wanted to abandon his old life. The memories haunted him, sucking away any of the joys he once found in the simple pleasures he and Margaret shared. Once he finished, the elderly shoemaker put his dishes away and headed to bed, leaving his fate in God's hands, his desire to live ebbing away. In the morning, once he was able to pry himself from his pillow, Johann threw on some crumbled clothes and shambled into his workshop, old habits dying hard, even in the most depressed of men. He unlocked the workshop and stepped inside, involuntarily shivering as a cold chill passed through him. Going to close the door, he stopped, eyes drawn to an object on the workbench, brown leather shoes, complete and unblemished. Johann blinked, thinking the combination of cold and tiredness was making his mind play tricks on him. But opening his eyes again, the shoes were still there. He cautiously stepped forward, taking them in his calloused hands, examining each with an expert's eye. A more perfect pair he never did see. He checked them all over, trying to find any bad stitch, one bad decision that compromised the entire product. He found no such thing. The shoes were, as far as Johann could tell, masterpieces. But how, he asked aloud, did they come to be in his shop? No one in the town besides himself knew the craft of shoemaking. Even the town's neighboring Lunenburg lacked a shoemaker, people coming from across the county to seek his skills. Just then, a knock came at the door. "Hello," a female voice called. "Johann, are you in?" He recognized the voice as belonging to Salome Lassel, a young mother of 3 whom he used to regularly fix shoes for when Margaret was alive. Yes, I'm coming." Johann put the shoes down and opened the door, Salome coming in, a frown on her face. He noticed a shoe in one of her hands. "How can I help you today?" he asked, trying his best not to sound half-hearted about it. Salome swung around, her plain white dress swishing with her, and held up the shoe. He saw immediately what the problem was. It had a big hole right in the front of it. "Adam drove his foot right into a nail by accident," Salome explained. "He was helping his father rebuild our outhouse, and—" Johann nodded. He understood. "Leave it with me. I'll have it repaired within a day or so." She thanked him, giving him a kiss on the cheek and handing over the shoe. Johann bid her a good morning, looking down at the hole. "Must have been mighty distracted," he said, turning to the workbench, about to put it down when an idea struck him. Why not hide in the workshop tonight and see if whoever created the shoes last night showed themselves tonight? It was worth a shot, wasn't it? Liking his improvised plan, Johann put the shoe on the workbench, removed the new ones, and headed out to his home to get his breakfast. Later that night, about 11, Johann returned to his workshop, candle in hand. Hiding himself behind some old boxes of leather and tools, he waited, and he waited. He waited for hours, growing more tired and red-eyed with each one, fearing he would fall asleep before he ever caught a glimpse of this mystery person. Johann was just about to lay down when he heard the door creak, sending a burst of adrenaline through him, his heart almost leaping into his throat. The shoemaker rubbed his sleep-deprived eyes, wishing the candle was still lit. Peeking over the boxes, he thanked God there was enough light to see by, his sight trained on the door. As it opened, a man was revealed who wore a dark brown tunic and grey trousers, a bag in his hand. The man's hair, a darkish silver, draped down his shoulders. Johann then studied his face. The man possessed a youthful appearance, handsome, his blue eyes bright and holding a bit of mischief. "What?" Johann whispered, spotting the man's ears. "An elf!" Sharply pointed, they were partially covered by his hair, but enough was visible to show Johann who his unexpected guest truly was. Elves, the mysterious race of beings long known to the Germans and their northern European cousins, did sometimes cross the boundaries between worlds and tinker with objects or play tricks on unsuspecting people. But Johann never believed in his life he'd encounter one in the flesh. The elf, seemingly unaware of his presence, sat his bag down on the workbench, pulling out size sticks, petty boy knives, a hammer, and several other tools used to make repairs. Johann sat transfixed, watching the magical being work, his hands moving gracefully and rapidly as he began the process of mending Adam's shoe. The elderly man marveled at the elf's technique, feeling envy welling up in his breast. Finally, after what only seemed to be minutes, the elf was done. He looked over the shoe with the greatest care, smiling at his handiwork before placing it back on the workbench and returning his tools to the bag, tying it back up. The elf took his leave then, making for the door, but he stopped just before reaching it. He turned slightly, hint of a smile on his face. "It's a shame to let talent go to waste. She asked me to tell you this. Her greatest wish is for you to find happiness again, Johann." The elf opened the door and disappeared into the night, leaving the shoemaker alone with his message. The she, Johann realized, could only have been Margaret. No one else knew he was letting his work be neglected. Getting off the floor, he slowly made his way to the workbench, admiring the repairs done by the elf, the envy growing stronger. He wiped the tears off his cheeks, a sense of peace settling over him, something he never believed he would feel again. Johann turned to the boxes for more leather. He had work to do,